name is Maria Bermudez, and I am the Managing Attorney of Disability Advocacy Group. I'm making this video today to talk to you about Social Security's 12-month duration requirement. So when it comes to applying for disability benefits, whether it's Social Security Disability or SSI, Social Security has a duration requirement. So basically that's 1 year, 12-month duration requirement, where they're going to require you to either be disabled or likely to be disabled. Social Security disability is not considered a short-term disability benefit. So if you sprain your ankle or something happens and you can't work for, say, 3 or 4 months, Social Security is not meant to be for those sorts of impairments, those sorts of conditions, or anything that is short-term in nature, right? So it does have this duration requirement because it's meant to be a long-term disability. So you have to be out of work or likely to be out of work for a year in order to be eligible for disability benefits. So what does this mean? And what does it mean in terms of filing? So when it comes to filing for disability benefits, we generally advise people based on their circumstances, and everyone's circumstance is different. So if somebody's getting treatment for a condition and we're not sure yet, is it going to meet the duration requirement? If there's not concrete evidence or substantial proof that we're going to meet that duration requirement, then we're typically going to advise them to wait a few months before filing. This reason is, well, first of all, they're not eligible for a benefit for the first 5 months anyway when it comes to Social Security disability insurance benefits. So the first few months, they're not going to be eligible for benefits. That's in the Social Security Act. The other thing is, if you apply too early and disability isn't established, you'll get what we call a technical denial. So in other words, if you're applying, you just have this injury, you haven't even seen specialists yet, or maybe you have just one time, you're going through, say, physical therapy, or maybe you got an injection. We don't know. We don't know if you're going to get better and be able to return to work. Then we're typically, like I said, we're gonna recommend that you wait till month 6. Generally, is what we say. Otherwise, you may get this technical denial, which I'm explaining. It means that they don't know if you're going to meet the duration requirements. Social Security is not entirely sure yet, so they're going to deny you off the bat. So if you wait a few months, right, before filing for benefits, and you have the evidence and it's very clear, that you may even want to wait the whole year, depending on what your situation is, then you may have a greater chance of getting awarded because you have the evidence to support. So versus getting that technical denial, not having enough evidence, and then having to appeal. It is entirely possible you get denied anyway and have to do an appeal. A lot of cases have to be appealed before they're awarded. But one sure way of getting a denial is not having evidence to substantiate the duration requirement. So let's talk about a few ways where the duration requirement is substantiated before that year. If you say, for example, if there's a course of treatment where you know it's going to last a year. So, for example, there's a major car accident and this person knows that they're going to have 3 or 4 surgeries over the course of the year. They may have, say, someone's diagnosed with cancer and they know the course of their treatment, whether it's chemotherapy, radiation, whatever their treatment is, they know it's going to last that long. Then that's a different situation, right? Then we know that this is established, the duration is established. So in that case, you may not need to wait to file for benefits. Other cases where you wouldn't need to wait for benefits is if your condition fits one of Social Security's compassionate allowance diagnoses or conditions. So in other words, Social Security has a list of diagnoses which they consider to be extremely severe, and if you're diagnosed with one of those conditions, then you wouldn't have to wait because Social Security is automatically going to approve you because you meet the requirements of their compassionate allowances. And then finally, clearly, if you have a terminal illness, you're not going to wait to file for benefits. You're going to file right away as soon as possible and get those benefits that you need. So I hope you found this information helpful. My name is Maria, again, Managing Attorney of Disability Advocacy Group, and you can find us at disabilityadvocacygroup.com. Thank you.